And today, how are we going to analyze the market? Most recently, I gave you guys some very nice short positions, which were at 65 and 65.5, or extremely beautiful entries. So today, looking at this, how should we analyze it? Long or short? What is the trend? And where should we set our stop loss and take profit, right? And why is that, guys? And here you can see BTC. Before that, you can see BTC had these two candles. This is a trend reversal pair. And if we look at the daily candle, we see that at the 65.5 thousand region, we have a so-called resistance zone. Here, let's draw it out. Here, at the 65,500 region, that is a very strong resistance zone for BTC on the daily candle. And we see this is a trend reversal pair, a dragonfly doji, a trend reversal pair, right? When it pushed up here, this green candle showed the weakening of the buyers and the sellers have entered the game. And we see a trend reversal doji here. With this kind of candlestick pattern, a trend reversal doji, I have given you guys some very nice short orders. This is the resistance zone, right? And we see that previously we saw BTC's upward momentum was very strong up to this 65.4 thousand zone. After that, it was weakened by this green candle, meaning the upward momentum has weakened and the selling pressure has intervened. And we see next is a red candle, a trend reversal doji. And up here is another resistance zone. So with a reversal pattern like this, we see that I have given you guys some very nice short positions in the 65,000 and 65.5 thousand zones. Those are very good entries. And we see today BTC has currently dropped to 63,200. So we have had some very nice short returns on BTC, ETH, and Solana. So what will it be like today? For our short positions, you guys can take some profit and still hold a little, right? With this kind of candle close, we expect BTC to continue moving downwards. In this decline, I expect BTC to test the 62.2 thousand region and perhaps even lower down to the 61.3 thousand region. Now let's analyze USDTD a little bit. For USDTD, we can see, previously we saw this. There was a reversal doji candle here, right? And this is a very strong confirmation candle for an uptrend. So this time, we expect USDTD to rise back to the 8.66% region and even higher. That would be the 8.8% and 9% regions. That is what we are expecting. With this kind of momentum down here, we have a very good red zone for USDTD, which is a support zone. With this support zone and the way the candle closed, USDTD will continue to rise. And as USDTD continues to rise, we can see that BTC will continue to fall. And we expect that this morning, USDTD will still close as a green candle. After that, we will see a slight downward correction for USDTD, heading back to the 8.4% region before continuing to rise to 8.66%. Now let's take a look at USDTD on the H4 timeframe. What do we see with USDTD on the H4 timeframe? The upward momentum is quite strong. Here we see two green candles with quite strong momentum, while the red candles are rather weak, right? Therefore, this morning, we expect USDTD to retest this 8.4% region. Here, this bottom region, if it tests back to 8.4%, our BTC will have a slight recovery up to the 64K and 64.5K region. Guys, this peak here, 64,000 is this region and 64,500 is this one. Okay, guys? And then USDTD continues to rise, continues to rise. And now let's look at this on the H1 time frame. If we pay attention to the H1, we can see that the H1 is currently in an Elliott impulse wave structure for USDTD. Here on the H1 USDTD, we are expecting it to have a wave like this, an impulse wave, an Elliott impulse wave. USDT is running in an impulse wave like this, and we can see that it has currently finished wave 2-3. It is retesting this wave 3-4. And for this wave 3-4, we are expecting it to be 8.4% everyone. After that, it will continue to push up in wave 4-5 to this 8.66% zone. Is that clear? So in parallel with that, our BTC is in a declining structure after it reached the growth rate as we analyzed up to the 65,500 zone. So we can see that BTC is moving like this. And like this, everyone. So our BTC is running like this. We expect BTC to continue to recover in wave 3-4, going up to the 64.3 thousand zone, and then continue to go down to the 62,000 zone. Here we can see that with the pattern creating lower highs and lower lows, BTC now needs to continue moving up to complete its next peak, somewhere between 62.3K and 62.5K. If it can continue to rise to the 64.2K to 64.3K zone and hold steady there, then following the lower high and lower low structure, we will see it drop back to the 62K zone. And clearly we can see on the BTC daily candle that it is still in a downtrend, and hitting the 62,000 zone is entirely possible, right? So the downward momentum of BTC on the daily candle is quite strong, okay? Dropping to 62,000 is entirely possible. And on the H1 time frame, we can see we are seeing a structure of lower highs and lower lows. At this moment, it needs to go up to create the next peak somewhere in the 64.2 thousand to 64.5 thousand range. Do you understand, everyone? After that, if it holds and continues with the lower highs and lower lows structure, it will drop to 62,000. Therefore, this morning, we are expecting a continued downtrend for BTC. When we analyze the H4 daily and H1 charts, we can see that our view for this morning is a short view, meaning BTC will continue to decline. And where is our short entry? Our short entry is at this peak, the third or fourth peak, meaning it will form the fourth peak right here in the range of 64.2 thousand to 64.5 thousand, everyone. It could absolutely reach 64.5K, everyone. So our short order this morning has entry 1 at 64.2K and entry 2 at 64.5K. And we will set the stop loss, right? We set the stop loss above here. There. Set the stop loss at 65,000, around 65,000, everyone. And where is our TP? Our TP is down here. Above our TP must be above this 65. Let's call it the 62,000 zone. The stop loss, of course, we have to place it above, a bit above here, above this peak. There in the 65,000 zone, everyone. Because cutting at this bottom won't work. Cutting at this bottom won't work, everyone. You have to cut above this bottom, okay? So BTC is currently in a structure of lower highs and lower lows. So we expect it to continue to decrease and correct. That is the $62,000 zone. USDT is still in a structure of higher highs and higher lows. So we expect its peak to be in the 8.66% zone. So what about ETH? As for ETH, in the previous days, we continuously had long and short orders with very high profit rates, right, everyone? And today we see that ETH on the daily candle has a support zone right here. The support zone at 1840 is still a pretty good support zone for ETH, okay, everyone? And let's consider this. With BTC still in a downtrend, we expect ETH to also make the next downward correction. Previously, we saw that ETH had a resistance zone up here. At the resistance zone, it tried many times but couldn't break through at the 1942 level, right? And it has already dropped to the area near 1840. So this morning, we will consider continuing to short ETH, but at what price should we short it? It has already returned to the 1840 support zone. So this morning, we expect ETH to recover a bit up to this level, around 1900, everyone. Let's look at the H1 time frame. If we pay attention to H1, ETH is still in a structure of lower highs and lower lows. So our first expected entry is right at this zone here. If we draw a horizontal line, ETH has a resistance zone right here. So 1900 is our first entry order. The second order, it has to be right here at 1920, everyone. Right here, right at this peak zone. We have to split it into two entry orders. This 1920 zone might not be reached. It might only go up to 1900 and then drop back down to 1840. Because it could go up to 1900, drop to 1840, and then go back up. Is that clear, everyone? So for ETH this morning, along with BTC, we are shorting. So we will still short ETH, but we will enter the first short order at 1900. We will enter the second order right at this resistance zone, 1920. And of course, we have to set our stop loss a bit above the high here. A bit above this high, everyone. That is 1946, 1945, okay? Stop loss at 1945, 1946 or so, right? Of course, since the stop loss is quite far, we must use reasonable leverage and allocate a reasonable percentage, everyone. we should manage our capital by only risking 1 to 2% of our capital per trade. And using leverage from 30 times to 50 times is reasonable for ETH. And for BTC, it can be 50 times to 100 times, everyone. And of course, we must have a stop loss to manage our capital more strictly. That is my analysis for BTC and ETH this morning. If you find this helpful, please click subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to receive my videos every day. All right, goodbye everyone.